Hare Krishna, good morning and welcome all of you all for the Sunday morning seminar. Bring out a better version from inside you. So we're going to discuss at large about this seminar. You have to enable me, Jivan. Yeah. So let's start our seminar with understanding, becoming better version of you. So we are all having some version or the other. It may look like a update of a software or update of a phone, version or Android version 1, 2, 3, 4, like Android version, or it may even sound to you like version of Windows, like Windows. We used to have Windows 95, 97, 2000. Like now it's, day by day it's changing very fast. So let's understand what is this better version of you. Let us understand our present version before we understand what our version has to be changed or what has to be updated. First and foremost, what kind of ideology and thinking are we having in this present version of ours? What ideology and thinking are we having? Can anyone, yes, Mr. Vishwas, Ashu Vishwas, right? Yeah, can you please help me in giving an idea? What do you think is present way in which people are thinking? Unmute yourself and speak.
हाँ जी गुरु जी।
Yes, Mother. What do you think? हमारा present आज के जमाने का सोच विचार क्या है? हम लोगों का आज का सोच कैसा है? How are we thinking?
आज का सोच तो सबका बहुत ज्यादा एडवांस ही हो गया है। सब का अलग अलग सोच है गुरुजी, सब अपने हिसाब से सोचते हैं। मतलब बहुत
जीवन के बारे में अब सोच क्या रहेगी?
सबको मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि सब लोग आगे, मतलब सब आगे बढ़ने की ज्यादा सोचते हैं जीवन के बारे में।
ये आगे बढ़ना ही क्या है मैं जानना चाहता हूँ। ये आगे बढ़ना किसे कहते हैं? मतलब अगर हम किसी के साथ हैं उनसे पीछे नहीं होना, इसी को आगे बढ़ना कहते हैं क्या? That's what is the today's situation. I mean, don't misunderstand me.
तो है गुरुजी,
But
ये चीज तो है।
अगर मेरे पड़ोसी ने गाड़ी ले ली और मेरे पास गाड़ी नहीं है तो मैं पीछे रह गया, वो आगे निकल गया।
हाँ जी, मतलब कि एक दूसरे को देख के ज्यादा कंपटीशन टाइप, कंपटीशन भी बोल सकते हो। मतलब कि उसके पास ये चीज है तो मेरे पास भी ये चीज होनी चाहिए।
एंड अगर मैं भाग रहा हूँ, आगे भाग रहा हूँ, तो
हाँ जी,
अगर उसके पास अगर 10 लाख की गाड़ी है तो मेरे पास 15 लाख की गाड़ी होगी, तो
हाँ
मैं
जी,
आगे हूँ।
हाँ जी।
So this is the biggest drawback in today's thinking or ideologies, or I mean, you name it. We have to understand this, why this is happening. We are all wanting success without tools and principles. हम लोग सबको success चाहिए. तो what is that success? I would like to know. कितने लोग इस चीज को सक्सेस किस चीज को मानते हैं? जैसे अभी माता जी बोल रही थी कि आगे निकलना है, आगे जाना, मतलब एक हिंदी में आगे जाना और इंग्लिश में इसको सक्सेस कहते हैं। आई एम मोर सक्सेसफुल देन यू एंड आई कैन प्रूव इट ओनली व्हेन आई एम हैविंग माय पॉकेट फुल। Mudit, you have not yet taken your bath?
No, Prabhuji.
No problem. We are habituated to see people without bath also. You can put on your video, no problem.
Give me 15 minutes, I'll put it on, Prabhu.
Oh my God. 15 minutes. Okay, give me an answer to the question.
Prabhuji, having more money, success is directly correlated to having more money in today's life.
Yes, in today's life, money is sweeter than honey. And it's makes you very sunny in this material world. And tell me one thing. Okay, there are 30 people, including me. So it's supposed to be the material people will call 30 nuts are watching and discussing about something which is not to be talked in the material world. But tell me, how many of you will agree to the fact that money is the only source of happiness or only ultimate goal of happiness?
Definitely, it is one of the source for happiness.
One of the source of happiness. Okay. And what about Karuna Ahuja Mataji? What do you like to say for that?
Yeah, it is one of the important source of today's what everybody thinks about. Money is very important to
Money
have everything.
is very important. I'm not saying about the importance. I'm talking of the source of happiness. I'm not talking of utility. I'm talking of happiness. Money
Yes,
as
nowadays,
utility. No, let me complete. Money as utility and money as happiness.
uh, today's generation, today we all think that money can bring a lot of happiness to us. That is what everybody thinks.
Okay. So that is the present version of ours.
Yeah.
So you want to upgrade this version or you are happy in this version?
No, I don't want to upgrade this version. I want spirituality to be the important source of my happiness. But somewhere I feel in when we go to practicality, money is also important.
I'm not talking about the importance. Again, you're amalgamating two different things. You're amalgamating two different things. Even if you want to commit suicide, you need to buy poison. And that costs money, right? I'm not denying on those factors. The point what I'm asking over here, the question is to be understood very properly. Is it the only source of happiness?
No, it is not the only source of happiness.
Fine. Yes, I think Raghav had unmuted himself. Raghav wanted to speak something.
No, Prabhuji. It is the same thing. Money cannot give happiness per se. It can, for materialistic, it can soften some of the blows which life throws at us.
Very nice.
Definitely.
Very
But
nice.
it cannot give you the happiness per se.
Because the basic amenities of life, roti, kapda, makan, whatever you call us, that has to be provided by the vitamin M. But other than that, happiness, we have not yet understood happiness. Possessing things or being a big possessor doesn't make you a happy person. If that was the case, if you go to a godown of Amazon or Flipkart or Chroma store, you should be very happy. In fact, you feel more sad. Oh, I don't have that version of TV in my house. I don't have that version of fridge. I don't have that version of washing machine. I don't have that version. Just being associated with things does not make you happy. And that's what is the first flaw or the mistake we people generally do.
Do I add something, sir?
Yeah.
See, money is one part. I think as a professional person, if you have enough money to do your work more efficiently, it gives you happiness in your profession. And
Sir,
I think the money becomes the most important part of.
What I would add on to your statement over here is, it gives you satisfaction, doesn't give you happiness. There's a vast difference between satisfaction and happiness. Suppose, I mean, let's not talk about our profession. Let's say you want to do painting, but to do painting, I mean, just you want to do a nice painting of nice scenery or anything. You need to buy canvas. You need to have brush, color, everything. For everything, you need money. But after completing the painting, you are only satisfied to do another painting. You are not happy. Right? So let's understand it in a broader segment. Then you will be able to get more clarification in your thinking process. You will get more clarification in thinking process. I would request all other participants also to actively take part in the interactive discussion. It's not that only a few want to get the part of happiness. Everyone should be a part of it. So requesting all to come up, raise up their hands and put up their points as and when they want to. So just now, Dr. Parekh and Ahuja, what is it? Karuna Ahuja. She also mentioned that money is important, happy. So for that, I'll tell a small story. All of you all know Kishore Kumar? How many people are fans of it? And I was a fan. We all are fans. Retro music, we all sing music. How many of you all know that how many marriages he had? Let's not debate on that. Okay. N number of marriages. We'll put N. And what was written outside his house in the end days of his life? Does anyone know? Beware of Kishore Kumar. And what he used to do when anyone used to enter Kishore Kumar's house in those days, He used to behave like a madman. Sometimes he used to move around naked. He used to go and bite them, do anything like a madman. Does a person have that? Is that what we call as success? Forget about people generally have, film industry, people have n number of marriages. There's nothing great. But उसने तो अच्छे अच्छे मारवाड़ियों को शर्मिंदा कर दिया था. क्यों? इतना दिवालिया निकाला उसने. He became bankruptcy twice or thrice. Can you imagine a singer like Kishore Kumar going bankrupt? So that means, it is always said, each time you do Diwaliya means you are having more money. In fact, in Marwadis it is said, कितनी बार भाईजी? पर आपने 3 बार दिवालिया निकाला तो बहू आपके घर पे तो लड़की नक्की देना ही देना, बहुत पैसे आपके पास. Not pointing out any fingers at any cause, but general, because I had some Marwadi friends who used to all tell me this. कितनी बार भाईजी? अगर 4 बार दिवालिया निकाला है तो मतलब अच्छा, एक ही बार निकाला दिवालिया, मतलब यार you're a low grade Marwadi, very poor Marwadi. So they used to tell me like that. So the point what I'm trying to make over here is, Kishore Kumar had maximum number of bankruptcy in the film industry, n number of wives, and at the end, that was the life he was leading. You all know Meena Kumari, tragedy queen. What was her state in her end days, in her youth days? How was she born? Born in dire poverty. Her father left her in front of the orphanage, and when he went home, he felt bad. He came back and picked up the child in front of the orphanage. It was lying down, and ants were biting her body. He cleansed her and brought her in dire poverty. He brought her up. At the age of 12, she started working in the film industry. It is said once Meena Kumari was playing, and Ashok Kumar went over there, and Ashok Kumar looked at her and said, "Oh, you're a nice, charming child." Said, what do you want to do? I want to do acting, she said. So Ashok Kumar said, "Don't worry. One day you will be my heroine." And a fact happened. In one of the movie, she became the heroine with Ashok Kumar. There is no veteran actor with whom she had not acted. No, it's to say, actors like Manoj Kumar and Sanjeev Kumar and all those great stalwart actors, they used to forget their dialogues in front of her because she was such a veteran in acting. So all given and said. What was her last stage after she married Kamal Amrohi? Money was not a problem for her. In fact, even Dharmendra ever entered into the film industry was courtesy Meena Kumari. Meena Kumari only had advocated for Dharmendra also to be taken in the film industry. But in the end days, what was her life? Her life was a big mess. Kamal Amrohi, I was very jealous because she was so famous. Kamal Amrohi was not that more famous. And he put all restrictions. Somehow the Pakiza movie was shot. And during that time, she was undergoing depression. She took up to alcohol because one of her friends said, "You're not getting sleep, take alcohol, you'll get sleep." Finally, she started taking alcohol. She didn't get sleep, but she became a very good drug addict and alcohol addict. And finally, at downtown in Elizabeth Hospital, she got liver cirrhosis. She was bloated up like a football, and there was no one to take care of her in the last minute. She died with nobody around. It was so pathetic that there was no money to do her last cremation. Finally, one producer somehow gave some money for her cremation to be done because he owed some money for some role which she had played in his film. And that's it. So, all those who think money is the final thing, no. Money is a factor of life. Like जीवन में बोलेंगे, मैं अगर कपड़े की जरूरत नहीं है, खाने की जरूरत नहीं है, घर की जरूरत नहीं है, छत की जरूरत नहीं है, तो उसी तरह ये भी one of the factors of life for sustenance, but not for happiness. Yes, you can sustain in a better way, you can sustain in a better manner, but it is not the end goal of life. We'll understand this topic in more detail as we go ahead. So people generally want success, but without understanding the tools and principles, because these people were successful. Meena Kumari, Kishore Kumar, Manmohan Desai, so many people who committed suicide during the film industry and being top celebrities. But finally, what happened to them? Second is, today people want to have more control over life. They think I can control life fully. But people forget the old proverb. What is that old proverb? Man proposes, God disposes. What happened to the people at large globally who had different plans, and with one small unseen virus, everything and everyone was put out of gear? Right from the smallest man to the richest man. Okay, one may say, it's a big scam, and Bill Gates is doing this, is doing. I'm not going to the debate of it. I mean, one person doesn't make the whole world, right? Yeah, for those who are money-minded people, for them, yes, it means a lot. Karuna Ahuja may say, Mataji may say, yes, Prabhuji, Bill Gates has got more, $1,000 million more. So he has become more happier. No. Overall, you see the whole world has gone for a toss. We think we are in control of the things. We are not in control of our own bowels, what to talk about other things. We can't control anything. Can we control our own bowels? Can we control our own eyelids? That is why it is said, Lord, in one of the Bhagavatam thing, it comes, Lord is called as Animishe. What is the meaning of Animishe? Who remembers? Let's see. Yesterday evening class. Rate of evaporation is very high. Oh, Priya Kumari Singh. Okay, boliye.
Who doesn't close his eyelids?
Who never closed his eyelids. So, Animishe means one who never closes eyelids. He is God. But here, what were we talking about? No, I am control. I don't need God. People have written book, Retire God. And they think they are in control. They're not in control. So that's the biggest defect in our today's present version is we think we are in more control of life. What our elders or earlier generation were not in control of our life, we are in more control of our life. No, that's not the case. Goal of life, more and more and more and more. That is what the goal of life is today. More and more and something more and something more over that. इसके लिए तो आदत है ना, हम लोग मॉल में गए तो भी 1 पे 1 फ्री, तब खरीदेंगे, भले वो जरूरत हो ना हो वो बात अलग है, बट 1 पे 1 फ्री है इसके लिए खरीदना है, because this is gone in our mind and blood. More, we want more, we want more. I already told. How many of you remember the ant story which I had mentioned earlier? कितने लोगों को याद है? याद नहीं? Once, Apikshit knows. Okay. Once there was a seminar of ants, and all ants were talking about which is better. So each ant used to come and put forth this ambition, this goal of life. What was the first goal? First one come and say. The ant said, "I want to become the best cricket player in the ant community." The second ant said, "I want to become the PT Usha of the ants." Third said, "I want to become Miss Universe." Fourth pig said, "I want to make Mr. Universe." Fifth ant said, "I want to become best astronaut. I want to become this. I want to become that." One fellow wanted to become Ambani ant also. Don't worry. So there are n number of ants. Finally, one ant said, "I don't want to be an ant. I want to be a butterfly." That's what we need to have a change in our thinking process. Again and again, the ant was only thinking of one thing, that I want to be one of the ants, but it didn't have a different thought process. That is where the problem starts. And the most important topic which I would like to discuss now is things will give us happiness. This is our present version. Things giving us happiness. Always I ask this question. Suppose, be honest, huh? Give me a true answer. Okay, I want 2 volunteers who can volunteer. Okay, Ashu, Biswas, can you volunteer?
Hanji Guruji.
Yes, and Hemangi Mataji, will you like to volunteer?
हाँ प्रभु जी.
Yes. Suppose आप लोग दोनों को बहुत प्यास लगी है. इतनी प्यास लगी है कि आप लोग शायद अगर 2 मिनट में पानी ना मिले तो आप मर जाओगे. You're going to die out of thirst. You're very thirsty. And आपके सामने 3 ग्लासेस रखे हैं पानी के. एक में एक पहला ग्लास जो है वो चांदी का ग्लास है. दूसरा ग्लास जो है वो कांच का है. और तीसरा है वो है प्लास्टिक का ग्लास. And honestly tell me, by default, which one will you go and lift? Will you lift the silver glass? क्या आप चांदी के ग्लास को पहले उठाओगे या कांच के ग्लास को उठाओगे या प्लास्टिक के ग्लास को उठाओगे? तीनों में है पानी ही, किसी में शरबत वगैरह कुछ नहीं है. यस, बोलिए माता जी. हेमांगी माता जी बोलिए.
प्रभु जी जो सबसे पहले होगा वही उठा लेगा.
तीनों एक ही साथ रखा है.
चांदी का उठाएंगे.
हाँ, चांदी का उठाएंगे. वेरी गुड, वेरी नाइस. आई एक्सेप्ट, आई लाइक फ्रैंकनेस. आई एक्सेप्ट. यस, हेमांगी माता जी आप कौन सा उठाएंगे?
प्रभु जी प्यास लगी है तब तो जो पहले हाथ में आया वही उठा लेंगे. चांदी वाला.
चांदी वाला उठा. मैं वही बोला ना, पहले चांदी वाला है, फिर कांच वाला है, फिर ये है. 3 लाइन. तो पहले चांदी वाला उठा, क्योंकि प्यास लगी है इसके लिए उठाओगे आप. या ग्लास रिटर्न करने का प्लान है या ग्लास लेके जाने का प्लान है? So this is what we have to understand. We are interested only in the externals, not in the internals. हम लोग बाहरी चीजों पे बाहर ज्यादा फोकस देते हैं, ज्यादा वेटेज देते हैं, ना कि अंदर की चीजों के लिए. प्यास लगी है, पानी चाहिए. कहते हैं ना, कई बार लोग no, they have a different ठीक है, that's I'll divert the topic. Otherwise, if I start that topic, it will get diverted. So I will not start the topic. But we have to understand that what is our actual desire, what is our actual requirement, and what we are doing in life. We are only thinking that money will give me happiness. By default, mind में बैठ चुका है, अगर मैं चांदी के ग्लास से पीऊंगा तो मुझे और मजा मिलेगा, अगर मैं कांच के ग्लास से पीऊं या प्लास्टिक के ग्लास से पीऊं तो मुझे वो मजा नहीं आएगा. There's a default setting inside us, and that is creating a problem. So what are the problems with this present vision? अगर हमको अपडेट करना है, अपने वर्जन को अपडेट करना है, तो पहले इस वर्जन में क्या प्रॉब्लम है, या सबसे बड़ी चीज ये समझनी है, everything, even they did the same thing with limited technology. हमारे 2 पीढ़ियां पहले देखते हैं और हम देखते हैं, हम में और उनमें क्या अंतर है? What's the difference between our earlier generation and today's generation? Jigar, you can put the spotlight on me. Yeah. So, Jigar Prabhu. So, tell me, who would like to tell me the difference between 2 generations ahead and 2 generations today? I think Dr. Parekh can give a nice analysis on this. Karuna Mataji, I'll come to you. Just hold on. Yes, Dr. Saab, bataiye.
I have seen 4 generations of mine.
That's the reason why I asked you specifically.
And I have seen them in a different state of mind. The earliest stage, when earliest generation was very much satisfied in themselves, very little resources. As the time changed, demands has increased and people have become more and more greedy rather. The greed, I have not seen greed in my grandparents.
Right. You know, if I share my grandparents' story, it looked funny, but my grandparents never even stepped their leg into a hotel and never ate food. My grandparents never stepped into a hotel. They said, no, that's something which is not meant for us. Yes, Karuna Mataj, you wanted to say something?
This generation was more sacrificing and more giving. And with previous senior people, like our grandparents, parents were more sacrificing, hardworking, and more giving. But today's generation is more selfish, lazy, I feel many a times, and with full of desires. And they want very fast everything. That is what I observe in today's generation.
And where do you stand? Where do you stand, Mataji?
Huh?
Where do you stand?
I stand in middle. I will not deny that I don't want things. Even
कहावत है, मालूम है ना, कहावत है, हमें बोलना नहीं चाहिए, बट धोबी का गधा ना घर का ना घाट का. So you have to understand this. I appreciate your statement, but you have to understand, we are only seeing that external differences, but what is common between them and us is what different are we doing with respect to them? What different are we doing? They were also beating their hands and legs to meet ends. We are also meeting or beating our hands and legs to meet the ends. But utna hi farak hai, they were beating their hands and legs to, get the basic expenditure of the house. Today we have to beat our hands and legs because we have to meet the maintenance cost of our house, maintenance cost of our 4 vehicles, for servants, for chefs, for name it, all that stuff, blah 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 stuff. So they were also hardworking. We can say we are more hardworking, but we both are hardworking to meet our ends. So in what way are we different? Is my point justified or not? In those days, the resources were less, so the running around was also less. Today, the resources were more, the running around is more. We could say people were less greedy. Why they were less greedy? Because there were no Amazon and Flipkart. Today, we may say people have lost character. Today, earlier they didn't lose. Yeah, they didn't have dating apps, right? If the dating apps had been present over in those days, might be they would have also behaved like us only. And mind you, we are heading for a disastrous situation with this, so-called habits. And what's the different? In what way are we different? Tell me. In what way is our version better than the earlier people? We have been doing the same thing what they are doing. In fact, they could produce more children and take care. We cannot produce more children. We have to limit ourselves. Why? We have to meet ends. Pehle, parents used to have 10 children, 15 children, and they used to take care of everyone, get them married, settle them, everything used to happen. आज एक बच्चे को लेके घर में आहा हो इतना डिस्को हो रहा है. एक या दो बच्चे हो गए तो माय गॉड, ये तो एकदम और फ्लडेड फैमिली हो जाता है. जगह के लिए मारामारी हो जाता है, पढ़ाई के लिए, एजुकेशन, एवरीथिंग इज अ बिग tough thing to achieve. So in what way, tell me, what way is it different? Actually older version और नया version कुछ रहा ही नहीं. हम लोग सब एक ही वर्जन के हैं, बस वही चीज हम कर रहे हैं एक आधुनिक तरीके से. पहले दिवाली टू दिवाली घर में मिठाइयां बनती थी, आज रोज मिठाइयां बनती हैं. क्यों? आज के हमारे पास स्विगी एंड जोमेटो है. पहले कभी कभार घर में कुछ स्पेशल खाना बनता था, आज रोज. आजकल तो इतना वर्स्ट है कि खाने के साथ वो भी मंगाते हैं, घर में पकाते भी हैं और मंगाते भी. And this is a core fact of present day's life. And we think, no, we are modern. You see, हमारे grandfather, Fidaji were not like that. No, they didn't have those opportunities. Today with internet, with other facilities, we are going from bad to worst. So let us understand one thing. There is no difference between between the earlier version and between our present version. They're almost the same. Is there any shortcomings in this present version? Doing more of the same thing is not giving happiness. Is this our perception? What is it? आपको क्या लगता है? Yes, Abhishek, what do you think? This is our perception. How is it like? Doing more of the same thing is not giving enjoyment. True or false? He has raised the hand. Okay, not able to unmute. Unmute and speak. Yeah.
Prabhuji, can you repeat the question?
Doing the same thing again and again, can it give us happiness?
No, definitely not. But we, in some or other way, we try do the same only.
वही करते हैं ना, हमेशा वही करते हैं ना. इतना फर्क है, माइट भी जगह चेंज होता है, होटल चेंज होता है. वही ना. Some people are there every weekday, every day, or every weekend. उनको शराब पीना ही है. Might be brand change होगा. कुछ लोग नहीं नहीं, I'm brand loyal. Some people are very brand loyal. Are you going to get happiness from that?
No.
That is why every हफ्ता वही पीना, वही दारू, उल्टी करना, वही चल रहा है. And they want to repeat it again and again like a donkey. Everything, if you see overall life, okay, you can mute yourself, Abhishek. Overall, if you see in life, everywhere, wherever we are going, we are seeing only these things. Do more of the same thing, and that is going to give us happiness, but it is not giving you enjoyment. Example, every week somebody wants to go to some resort. Every week somebody wants to go to the restaurant. Every week somebody wants to go to the mall or movie theater, this and that. कुछ नहीं. थिएटर में किसी होटल में खाते वक्त, okay, I'll just when we are eating the food in a restaurant, that time also we are not enjoying, thinking next time किसी और होटल में जाएंगे, फलाना होटल में जाएंगे, उसमें मजा ज्यादा आएगा. So we are always stuck in that mode or in that thinking process only, and that is the problem. And the name of happiness, we are getting more and more sadness. Why? आज पैसा ज्यादा है आदमी के पास, फैसिलिटीज ज्यादा है, गाड़ियां बेहतर हैं, with all GPS, ABS, this and that, airbag and what not. But still, why are we unhappy? Why is our sadness increasing? Has anyone thought over it? आज पहले हमारे दादाजी के पास मोबाइल फोन, स्मार्टफोन नहीं थे, बट वो ज्यादा सुखी थे. हमारे पास सब कुछ है, फिर भी हम दुखी क्यों हैं? We have never thought over it. We have never decided, given ourselves thought or time to understand why, what is the difference, what is making it different. And believe it or not, today we are having more than 500 channels in our TVs. You know that? पहले ज़माने में, when I was small, I had one DD दूरदर्शन, और जो भी था, जैसा भी था, मैं सुखी था उसके साथ, because I had no option. By giving more options, what has happened? We have become more sad. When you sit with the remote in front of the TV, you keep on changing it. Khatak, next channel. Might be this is not giving happiness. Might be the next channel will give me happiness. Khatak, next channel. Khatak, next channel. Khatak, next channel. Khatak, next channel. करते करते 500 चैनल घूम के आ जाते हो, बाद में मालूम पड़ा 1 घंटा टाइम तो चला गया, कुछ खुशी तो मिली नहीं, वहीं के वहीं खड़े हैं. I can spend more money, I can buy another 200 channels, but is it going to give me happy? Because we are busy searching for happiness outside, not inside. So you have to understand that. Sorry. I'm not getting screen share. 1 minute. What is the purpose and benefit we will get by upgrading our version? अगर हम अपने आप को बड़ा करने से क्या फायदा, नेक्स्ट वर्जन में जाने से क्या फायदा? कुछ लोगों के लिए अपग्रेडेशन मींस व्हाट, पहले छोटा चोर था, मैं बड़ा डॉन बन गया हूं, क्या इसी को हम अपग्रेडेशन कहेंगे? या अपग्रेडेशन का मतलब क्या है? A higher version will solve all the defects and the drawbacks in the earlier version and will be able to identify the defects in our present version. It will be able to solve all the defects, the drawbacks in the earlier version, and we will be able to identify the defects in the present version. Okay, before we discuss, I think Ragini Mataji has raised hand. Yes.
Prabhuji, I thought of that you have asked the question, so I thought of I should reply.
What question?
That what will be the benefit if we upgrade ourselves to the better version?
Okay. Achha. I just was starting with the next slide. I was just discussing about the slide. Yeah. Good. At least I'm happy you're listening attentively. So a higher version will solve all the defects. So क्या defects निकला अभी तक हमारा version में, earlier version में, वो सब defects अगले version में नहीं होना चाहिए या कम से कम होना चाहिए. That is what happens, right? When we are having Windows 95, we were having, then Windows 2000 came, 97 came, 98 came, then Windows 2000. So every upgradation had a better feature, or more better, what do you say, customer friendly apps and customer friendly interface, which could give you a better way of interacting with that. So it was making it more, life was becoming more easier with that. So that is what is the benefit. And by seeing one another, we cannot identify the real problems and get to the solutions. The problem क्या है, हम ये solution ढूंढने के लिए जा कहाँ पे रहे? एक दूसरे को देख के बोल रहे हैं, अरे यार पड़ोसी के घर पे मोबाइल आ गया, मेरे घर पे नहीं मोबाइल आया, मैं दुखी हूँ. और पड़ोसी के घर पे गाड़ी आ गया, मेरे घर पे गाड़ी नहीं आई. पड़ोसी के घर पे वो फॉरेन चला गया, घूमने चला गया, मैं नहीं गया, वेकेशन पे गया, मैं नहीं गया. This is what is the whole thing. Either वो चाहे वो पड़ोसी हो या कोई रिलेटिव हो, जो भी हो, I mean whatever your goal of life is, your idol of life is. So what happens? Lifelong हम दूसरे को देख के क्या हम अपने आप को अपग्रेड कर पाएंगे? It is not possible that we can upgrade ourselves or our version, but just by looking at others. So for that, what do we do? If you always do what you have always done, please understand this. If you always do what you have always done, then you will always be where you have always been. जो आप पहले से करते आ रहे थे, उसी चीज को आप करते रहोगे. आप जो जहां पे थे वहीं पे रहोगे. कोई चेंज नहीं होने वाला है. I always give in my short video, I always say, change in life means first changing your own self. We are ready to change the घर का टीवी, वॉशिंग मशीन, फ्रिज, पर्दे, सोफा, फर्नीचर सब बदलने को तैयार हैं. यहाँ तक कि घर का वास्तु बदलने को तैयार हैं. यहाँ तक कि घर बदलने को तैयार हैं, घर का दरवाजा बदलने को तैयार हैं. बट हम अपने आप को बदलना नहीं चाहते हैं. And if you want to really be happy, change yourself first rather than changing everything. कुछ लोग तो अपना क्या बोलते हैं, they change their name also. They add an extra E, extra K, extra A or E, whatever it is. They change their name also. क्यों? So that they can be more happier or more better. You cannot be. Every next level of your life will demand a different version of yourself. You will have to change. आप खुद चेंज हो रहे हो. जब आप छोटे थे, माइट भी खिलौनों के साथ खेल रहे थे. बड़े हो गए, आपको बड़े खिलौने चाहिए. कौन से बड़े खिलौने? अब आपको बाइक, कार, मोबाइल्स, बड़े बड़े खिलौने चाहिए. अभी आप तो वो पुराने खिलौने के साथ नहीं खेल पाओगे, राइट? So this is change. So next level पे आप जाओगे, जिंदगी के higher levels पे जाओगे, you will have to change. So is our Shastra the perfect guru to solve our problem? So यहाँ पे एक बड़ा सवाल उठता है. हमको बदलना है, कुछ नया होना है, अपग्रेड करना है, और उसके लिए सबसे पुराने चीज शास्त्र के पास जाएं. Is it making sense? What do you like to say for this? आपकी क्या राय है? Yes, Abhishek, what do you think? नया कुछ करना है, पुराना चीज, सबसे पुराना चीज, पुराना नहीं, सबसे पुराना चीज उठाना है, उठा के पढ़ना है या उसके हिसाब से करना है, तो कुछ फायदा होगा उससे?
अगर प्रॉपर गाइडेंस मिले ना तो बहुत फायदा होगा. अगर विदाउट गाइडेंस करेंगे तो थोड़ा स्ट्रगल बहुत ज्यादा है, और अगर विद गाइडेंस करेंगे तो स्ट्रगल और प्रॉपर नॉलेज भी.
Let me ask Ragini Mataji. Yes, Mataji, what do you think? Expert comments.
Yes, Prabhuji, certainly there will be benefits. One
How
movie,
come? How come benefits can come, Mataji? We are talking of something modern, latest. There were no Wi-Fi's when sadhus were there. When Vyasdev wrote all the Vedas, there was no Wi-Fi. There was no smartphones. There was no smart TVs. There was no intellectual Google driven cars that time. So we are in a modern age where everything is gross. So happiness is also
can I
gross.
give an example? What I think that people smoke and drink so that their anxiety level comes down and they feel that they are more happy. And I don't know personally what happened to them, but I find everyone doing all these things. So if you want to be happy and peaceful, so why don't have a mala in the hand rather having a glass of drink?
But you know the best part of having a cigarette in the hand? They are not anxious about getting their anxiety down. They are anxious of getting the next cigarette in their hand. That is a real tragedy. The real tragedy of having cigarette in the hand or a glass of wine is does not reduce your anxiety. People may name it, give it a nomenclature that it is going to reduce anxiety. I'm taking it to reduce my anxiety in my life. But you don't, you say anxiety is created by yourself, by your own thought process.
But
and that can be changed.
That is not solving the problem. So it's better to have mala and shastra in the hand rather than those things.
That वो तो बात की बात है. पहले अपने आप को ये तो समझ लें, पहले लोग ये तो समझ लें कि कम से कम how this change has to be brought about. So get this point, let this understanding very clear all of you all, कि भाई शास्त्र जो है वो बहुत पुरानी है और लेटेस्ट आधुनिक है. क्यों? उसमें कभी कोई संशोधन नहीं किया गया है. There were no appendix, no additional changes brought in the constitution. जैसा हमारे constitution में changes, amendments आते हैं, कभी शास्त्र में amendments नहीं हुए because they were perfect. तो यहाँ पे पहला सवाल उठता है, क्या वो mythology है? कुछ लोग कहते हैं नहीं प्रभु जी mythology नहीं, वो mythology नहीं है. कुछ लोग बोले प्रभु जी हिंदुइज्म इज रिचुअलिज्म. मैंने पहली बार एक मंकी वाला एक्सपेरिमेंट बताया था, आप लोगों को याद हो तो. I hope you all remembering that experiment or I've forgotten. How many of you remember it? Andrika Mataji remember. Smooth it. Apekshit. Okay. Fine. Okay. तो बाकी लोग इनको पूछ लेना, ये लोग बता देंगे. ठीक है. तो जिनको पता नहीं है वो इन लोगों को फोन करके पूछ ले. So it's not a mythology. It's not that Hinduism is not a ritualism. And is there anything higher than heaven and hell? जनरली हम लोग शास्त्र के बारे में जानते हैं या कोई अच्छा चीज करना चाहते हैं तो वो एक ही चीज के लिए करना चाहते हैं, वो है स्वर्ग में जाएंगे या नरक में जाएंगे. अच्छा करोगे स्वर्ग में जाओगे, बुरा करोगे नरक में जाओगे. बट व्हाट इज द यूज? इसके ऊपर भी कुछ है या नहीं है? दैट इज व्हाट इज द एक्चुअल अंडरस्टैंडिंग ऑफ द शास्त्र. शास्त्र गिव्स बेसिक नॉलेज. लाइक हर चीज में ना Jigar bro, what do you call that? Primary one is a pro version and then a higher version. What is it called? That is called as pro version. One is the basic version, then is the pro version, right?
Yeah, the basic and the pro.
Basic and the pro. So यहाँ शास्त्र में भी basic version भी है, pro version भी है. What is the basic version? स्वर्ग नरक is basic version, जिसमें limited use है. बेसिक कोई भी ऐप आप लोगे ना, उसका लिमिटेड यूज रहता है बेसिक वर्जन में. सब फीचर्स अवेलेबल नहीं रहते हैं. सिर्फ जैसे अगर आप जूम भी लोगे तो जूम यू विल गेट फॉर 45 मिनट्स फ्री मिलेगा, उसके बाद डिस्कनेक्ट हो जाएगा. बट फर्स्ट 3 टाइम आपको 1 घंटा 1.5 घंटा चलाने मिलेगा, बट उसके बाद 45 मिनट्स लिमिटेड. सो इट हैज गॉट बेसिक वर्जन. बट द प्रो वर्जन, उसके लिए थोड़ा कीमत भरना पड़ता है, पैसे भरना पड़ता है, और उसको पैसे भरने के बाद उसमें बहुत सारी फीचर्स मिलते हैं, और उस सारे फीचर्स में ये फीचर भी इंक्लूडेड रहता है. What is included? The basic features are included in the pro version, but pro version has got additional features to the basic version. Are you all getting this? Very important point. I'm trying to give it in a day-to-day palatable way. So similarly, one may say, अरे क्या स्वर्ग नरक के बारे में सोचना नहीं है क्या? भैया वो बेसिक वर्जन है, आप प्रो वर्जन में आ जाओ. प्रो वर्जन में आओगे तो क्या फायदा है? The higher version, what is the benefit? बेसिक वर्जन के सारे फीचर्स उसमें अवेलेबल रहेंगे. तो यानी कि अगर हम शास्त्र के प्रमाण के हिसाब से हम हमारे जीवन को बिताने की कोशिश करेंगे, we try to lead our life as per the shastra, and we take some extra important tips or guidance from it, we will get the benefits of normal happiness and something called as paramanand. Anand and paramanand दोनों मिलेंगे आपको. That is what is the basic crux of getting into a higher version. This is what I want to make you understand. The higher version will give you the features of both the basic as well as the pro version. Like every app has got a basic version, a pro version, paid version and unpaid version. Free version में limited रहते हैं, unpaid paid version में थोड़ा higher रहते हैं. तो थोड़ी कीमत देनी पड़ती है, और कीमत क्या है? थोड़ा आपका वक्त देना पड़ता है. एंड लोगों के पास बोलते हैं प्रभु जी पैसे ले लो, मगर हमारे पास वक्त मत मांगना, वक्त बहुत कम है हमारे पास. Sorry, I'm not able to. Okay. So Shastra helps us in many ways. Identification of the soul, which is very subtle. Example of ghee in milk. शास्त्र कहता है भाई, आप पहली चीज तो आप आत्मा और शरीर नहीं हो, और आत्मा होने का एहसास कैसे पता चलता है आपको? कई चीज दिखते नहीं है पर होते हैं. अगर मैं आपको एक ग्लास ऑफ मिल्क दिखाऊं और वो कहूं कि इसमें 1 चम्मच घी है, तो आप बोलोगे कहां से दिखेगा? बट शास्त्र सो स्मार्ट. शास्त्र बताता है कि उस दूध से दही जमाओ, दही को मथो तो निकलेगा मक्खन, उस मक्खन को गर्म करोगे तो आपको घी मिलेगा, और तो घी है उसके अंदर, बट हमको उसका ज्ञान नहीं है. बट generally we are not having this idea. Happiness can be achieved when the soul is happy. I'll give you an example of a samosa in the canteen. It's my favorite example. Unfortunately, there aren't much youth today available in the session. Okay. Once, imagine all of you, I think all of you have gone to college for sure. Some are going to college as a teacher also now also. So just imagine we all are sitting in the college canteen. We are enjoying a nice crispy samosa. Our boyfriends and girlfriends are standing and sitting in front of us. Nice mahol. हाथ में cold drink का bottle भी है. So nice, fun, interacting very nicely. And suddenly your friend comes running. You are biting that samosa and you're saying, wow, I'm enjoying, भूख भी लगी है, बढ़िया crispy samosa है, enjoying. And suddenly your friend comes running, अरे यार तू देखा नहीं, अपना रिजल्ट लग चुका है, नोटिस बोर्ड में अपना रिजल्ट लग चुका है. Now it is the same samosa, the same friends, and the same Coke in your bottle in your hand, but now the taste is gone. Gone ना? क्योंकि अपने कर्म याद आते हैं जो हमने एग्जाम में किए, कैसे कर्म लिखे हैं, कैसे लिखे हैं, क्या क्या लिखे हैं, कितने क्वेश्चंस ऑप्शन में पड़े थे, कितने कॉपी किए थे, कितने छोड़ दिए थे, और पता लगता है कि यार समोसा का मजा किरकिरा कर दिया इसमें. तो अब समोसा भूल भी गए आप, भागोगे आप टू सी द नोटिस बोर्ड, हाउ मेनी मार्क्स यू गॉट. उसके आगे मैं नहीं बताऊंगा, उसके आगे आप लोगों को पता है, आप लोगों के कर्म है, आप लोग देख लेना. So what was giving you happiness? The samosa was giving you happiness, the Coke was giving you happiness, or when the news came that your result is on the notice board, the same samosa is still in your hand, the same Coke is in your hand, then why is it not giving you taste now? Why you are not having the same feeling towards it now? क्या चेंज हो गया उसके अंदर? The situation has changed 360 degrees. So let us understand, fundamentals of happiness are much different to what we have understood till date. Till date we have not understood the actual what is happiness. Why? That samosa was giving taste only to the mouth, to the senses, but the mind, when it came to know that the result is on the notice board, the mind can no longer relish it. The tongue may relish it, but the mind cannot relish it. Second, we are attached to the result. Our attachment is there. Whenever we are attached, then that result has its effect. And how do we understand that? Very simple. सबके घर में न्यूज़पेपर आता है या टीवी न्यूज़ चैनल सुबह चल रही है, और आपके घर पे कोई मेहमान आए हुए हैं, और मेहमान के लिए आपने बढ़िया नमकीन और नाश्ता बनाया है आपने, तो योर सर्विंग नाश्ता, लीजिए, अरे नमकीन लीजिए, और न्यूज़पेपर में न्यूज़ आया है, रेल दुर्घटना में 20 लोगों की मौत. क्या आ रहा है? रेल दुर्घटना में 20 लोगों की मौत, और आप वो न्यूज़ पढ़ रहे हो. अरे क्या करें, एक तो एक्चुअल करेक्ट न्यूज़ नहीं बता रहे हैं, 50 लोग मरे रहेंगे, 20 लोग बोल रहे हैं लीजिए लीजिए आप समोसा लीजिए. आप क्या बोलोगे? हाँ हाँ बराबर है, लीजिए लीजिए आप समोसा लीजिए. अरे ऐसे ही है, कुछ ना कुछ तो गड़बड़ होता रहेगा, आतंकवादी हमला हुआ रहेगा, कुछ ना कुछ हुआ रहेगा, और वो सब छोड़ो, आपके लिए गर्म चाय बन रही है, अब चाय लीजिए, आप चाय लीजिए. इतनी बड़ी दुर्घटना, 20 लोग मर गए, और आपका मन हिला डुला नहीं. और आपके घर में आपकी माँ की तबीयत खराब, और अगर मैं आपको बोलूं आइए माता जी या प्रभु जी आइए, आपके लिए अच्छा भोजन बनाया है, खाना कैसे जाएगा? हाँ मेरी माँ के ऑपरेशन चल रहा है, हॉस्पिटल में है, भूख ही नहीं लग रही है. अरे पहले 20 लोग मर गए, और यहाँ आपकी माँ का सिर्फ ऑपरेशन हो रहा है और भूख मर गई. सिचुएशन इज द सेम, राइट? Apparently it's the same. There's a difference. What is the difference? उसमें you are not attached to the people, you are not connected to the people, but here you are connected to that one person. खाएंगे तो भी क्या खाएंगे, जो भी मिला एक रोटी मुंह में ठूस लेंगे, बस चलो पेट भरना है, भूख लगी है पेट भरना है, बट वहां पे स्वाद पे फोकस नहीं है. और वहां जब 20 लोग मर गए, न्यूज़पेपर में टीवी चैनल में दिखा रहे हैं, आप वही देखते देखते वही खाना भी खा रहे हैं आप लोग. Is it not ridiculous how we people are able to eat watching this type of news? उसके घर वाले नहीं खा सकते, आप खा सकते हो. That means what? How this difference comes? This is because we are not attached to the results. So now you understand samosa story? Same samosa, everything is same. But when किसी और का रिजल्ट का बारी था, तो you are not bothered. But when it was your result, you are bothered because you are attached to the results of it. Example of car and driver, which I've given n number of times. Soul is like the driver and this body is like a car. So these are the things, Shastric knowledge, which can help us identify our upgrading our version. Shastra also helps us identifying the actual problems of life. Actual problems are birth, death, old age and disease. हम लोग उन चीजों पे कभी ध्यान नहीं देते हैं. ठीक है, मरना तो है प्रभु जी एक दिन. अरे मरना तो है, मरण और जन्म के बीच में कुछ है, वो भी तो सोचो. जिस दिन आपका जन्म हो गया उसी दिन आपका मरण भी निश्चित हो गया. बट जन्म और मरण के बीच में एक पूरी आयु है, वो आप कैसे निभाते हो, उस पे आपका मरण और उसके ऊपर आपका जन्म दोनों तय है. That decides those time factor in between. I think someone's voice is unmuted. Please mute yourself. So we may say, अरे प्रभु जी जन्म तो लेना ही पड़ा ना, मरेंगे एक दिन, सब मरेंगे. बट इस बीच में जो जीवन है वो आपके हाथ में है. वो आप जिस दिशा में लेके जाना चाहते हो वो लेके जा सकते हो. But generally we make that mistake. Lastly, we are aware of the uncertainties of our present life, but are the uncertainties of the next life, are we aware of that? Shastra helps us. What way? All attempts are put to rectify this present life, but no attempts are made to rectify our next life. Is it making some sense to us or not? Upgraded version can give you only one extra thing. इस जीवन को सुधारने के लिए हम लोग लाख कोशिश करें और उसके लिए एक ही कोशिश करते हैं, ज्यादा पैसा आएगा तो ये जीवन सुधरेगा. सॉरी, मैं कई लोगों को जानता हूं जिनके पास बहुत सारा पैसा है बट उनका जीवन पूरा shattered. Whole life is shattered. Their whole life is in a mess. Money doesn't solve that person. Is not able to solve the problem. In fact, a classical joke I'll tell you. It once so happened that we from Iskcon had gone to collect some donations, and we went to meet one person who was in Bandra, and he was basically coming from a very rich background. So rich that his grandfather was one of the financiers of the movie Star Wars. Star Wars movie के financier थे. So rich people. तो हम लोग गए थे, and you know that person's lifestyle was really, and everyone would like to live like that lifestyle. We'll get up in the morning and go to the gym, come back home, have his breakfast, then take from his segment of cars. He used to have a very segments of cars. He used to have Mercedes, Lamborghini, this BMW, name it, all the varieties of cars he used to have. So any one of the car used to go out to meet his friends, have some party, then come home, then take some rest. Again in the evening, every day evening is one party for him somewhere or the other. And that's how his life was going. And after we collected a donation, we just casually asked him, so how old are you? He said, I'm around 32, 34. 32 or 34, I don't remember, around 32, 34, he said. Oh, and then we said, oh, it's now time for you to get married. He said, sorry, sir, I'm not going to get married. So we asked him, why you don't want to get married? No, you know, if I get married and if the marriage doesn't stick and if I get divorced, just by doing nothing, my wife will get 50% of the money. And that my money is too huge. As alimony, I have to give her a huge amount of money. So we were just discussing, this person's life is a dream life. But what's the use? He can't get married just because His money is his biggest problem. So at times, it so happens that life gives such a jolt that you can't do anything about it. So let us understand. So what does the Shastra gives us is gives us a plan to understand our next life. हम लोग तो इस जीवन को सुधारने के चक्कर में बैठे हैं, अगला जीवन कब सुधारेंगे? अगला जीवन तो होने वाला है. And that's for sure. One who dies, who takes birth again, and one who takes birth is sure to die again. So again to take birth. Lord says in the Bhagavad Gita also, Jatasya dhrum mrityu dhrum janma mrityasya cha tasmad apariyare arte natam sochatam haras. One who takes birth is sure to die. One who dies is sure to take birth again. And that is possible because we are a soul and not the body. What dies is the body, and what takes birth is the soul. So how do we understand this? How do we understand to solve this? How to equate ourselves with this things is what the new version is all about. And this whole version is possible with the help of Shastra. Shastra can guide us and give us the understanding. Benefits of a guided upgradation. What are the benefits of a guided upgradation? Clarity of goal of life. Otherwise, it's like flying a plane without a direction. Plane chalaoge magar without a direction. Wisely deciding to spend your life like spending 100 crores. Yes, this is a very important point which I want to discuss with all of you. Let's suppose, Abhishek, you get 100 crores with you. The condition is you have to spend it. See, nice, na? 100 crores bhi mil raha hai, spend karne bhi mil raha hai. Now, how will you spend it? How will you spend it?
डोनेशन
अरे मत बोलो, सब लोग लाइन में आ जाएंगे, सब लोग क्लास में जितने हैं 33 पीपल आ जाएंगे आपके पीछे. हाँ, उसके अलावा बोलो कुछ. डोनेशन करोगे? डोनेशन तो वो तो बड़े बड़े सेलिब्रिटीज करते हैं टीवी शोज में आके.
यानी जितना मेरे पास अभी यानी 100 करोड़ आने से पहले था उतना ही मैं खुश रहूंगा.
उतने खुश रहोगे. तो कितना डोनेशन, कितना 99 करोड़ करने वाले हो, कितना करने वाले हो?
50% कर दूंगा, बाकी रिलेटिव वगैरह में बांट दूंगा.
मतलब वो भी तो डोनेशन ही हुआ ना.
हाँ,
तो आप रिलेटिव को अलग से थोड़ी देने हो, तो डोनेशन में खड़े होंगे ना सब लोग. तो फिर बांटोगे, फिर वापस आप वही वापस कल सुबह से वापस ऑफिस जाके काम करके कमाओगे. अच्छा, डोंट यू थिंक दैट इज अ वेस्ट ऑफ मनी? डोंट यू थिंक अभी भगवान हमको सपोज लेट्स एग्जांपल, उसमें से आपने 1 करोड़ रुपया मुझे दे दिया आपने एग्जांपल, तो क्या भगवान के अंदर इतना सामर्थ्य नहीं कि वो मुझे 1 करोड़ दें, आपके थ्रू ही दें? Am I destined to, if I am destined to get 1 crore rupees, why would God use you to give me 1 crore rupees? I as well get my 1 crore rupees directly, no? So this means you are not planned in doing your expenditure. See, now I'll ask a CA for that instance. She'll give you a perfect answer. Yes, Karuna Ahuja Mataji, how will you spend it, Mataji? I'm not asking how you're going to make it black and white. I'm not asking on that. I just want to know how you're going to spend it. She's a CA, by the way, so she will give you a better idea. I'll come to you, Andrika Mataji. Don't worry.
If I get 100 crores, first thing is I will secure my life with sufficient money so that I don't have to worry about money for my.
How much is your sufficient money, Mataji?
10 crores.
Achha. In 10 crores, you're sure you will be sufficient.
Yeah.
अच्छा, and अगर आपके बच गए तो आप ऊपर लेके जाने वाले हैं या नीचे? नहीं लेंगे. अच्छा, ठीक है.
Then I will plan for my kids. Then I'll plan for my relatives. Then I will plan for my people working with me.
Oh, so they are all incapable of planning. So you have to plan for them.
No. I have got money, so that is why I have access. So I will give. If I don't have access, so how do I give?
Okay, fine. Okay, that's very nice. Yes, Vandrika Mataji, boliye.
To tell you very true, the moment you said 100 crores, the flash of mind is like 100 crore आया तो इसको कैसे रखेंगे जिससे it should last forever. That suddenly it came in a stress.
And the best joke, I very appreciate, Doctor, I appreciate your way of being frank and being natural, being spontaneous, and very few people have the guts to accept it also. Secondly, we are worried about the eternity of that 100 crores, but
Yes.
we know ourselves, we are not eternal.
Exactly, that just came to my mind suddenly. If 100 crores are, how can I keep it such a way that it lasts for life?
Definitely. And how much of life is left with us, nobody knows. Nobody knows whether we are going to meet next Sunday or not.
All these donation and everything, if we want to donate, we can donate today itself, even without having 100 crores.
That it is said that why people wait for that thing, they don't have faith. One should have faith in one own self. One own self, one should have faith. Forget about God. God तो बहुत दूर की बात होगी. खुद पे भरोसा होना चाहिए. अरे इतनी जिंदगी मेरी कट गई है बिना 100 करोड़ की, तो आगे की जिंदगी नहीं कटेगी.
प्रभु जी,
That should be the fix. Yeah.
बहुत पहले कभी मतलब पता नहीं शास्त्रों में पढ़ा है कि बड़ों के मुंह से सुना है. 1 रुपए मान लो कमाया, 4 आना तो देना चाहिए पुराना कर्ज पटाने में, 4 आना देना चाहिए बच्चों को आगे के लिए, 4 आना खुद के लिए और 4 आना करना चाहिए अगले जन्म के लिए.
वो अगले जन्म का दान कैसे होता है उसको पता है आपको? उसका एक्चुअल प्रोसीजर क्या है मालूम है?
वो आप बताइए.
If you give 1 rupee to a brahmana, if you give 1 rupee, then it is like telling him, keep this 1 rupee. Next birth, I will collect it as 100 rupees. That is the calculation as per Shastra. You give it. That is why it is Shastra gives very much importance. Donating it to the right person, right time, right place. Very important. So my next question to Karuna Ahuja Mataji is, Mataji, if you are going to give it to all your friends, relatives, and your known friends and children and grandchildren, what you said, and few of them use their money to drink and do meat eating, intoxication, illicit sex and gambling. उसके जो कर्म है वो भी आपको उठाना है, आपको पता है?
Yes.
उठाने को तैयार है?
नहीं,
फ्री में माता जी, नो चार्जेस फॉर दैट. जैसे 100 करोड़ फ्री है, ये भी फ्री है आपके साथ.
Before giving money, I will see the utility of money, how they will use it also. And
क्यों माता जी? आपने अगर 1 करोड़ रुपया दिया, वो भी यही थी सोचेगा ना, मैं मेरे अपने बीवी बच्चों के लिए रखूं. वो क्यों उड़ा के खत्म करेगा? क्या दिमाग आपके पास ही है? वो नहीं सोचेगा. That is what the problem is.
It is a very big question to think about.
But just imagine, मैंने सिर्फ आपको 100 करोड़ पूछा है. ये जो मूल्यवान जीवन जो मिला है ना, उसको कैसे खर्च करना इसके बारे में पता नहीं हमको. 100 करोड़ खर्च करने निकले हम लोग. This valuable, most valuable human birth, we don't know how to spend. And हम निकले 100 करोड़ खर्च करने. उसमें ये रिजर्व करूंगी, वो रिजर्व करूंगी, और नेक्स्ट वेव में आपका वेव हो गया तो क्या करेंगे आप? नेक्स्ट वेव में आपका वेव हो गया तो क्या करेंगे आप? बाकी के वेव्स आपके बच्चे खेलेंगे, डोंट वरी. बट व्हाट अबाउट यू? An intelligent person is one who uses the latest software to understand this costly human birth which I have got. How will I utilize that human birth? It is costlier than 100 crores. 100 crores 10 बार कमा सकते हो अगर आपके अंदर प्रारब्ध है तो. मगर ह्यूमन बर्थ बार बार नहीं मिलता है. और अगर मिल भी गया अगला बार ह्यूमन बर्थ, but it is somewhere in Africa, where you may not be Karuna Ahuja, you may be Ulala, something, some name will be there. Then what you will be doing over there? Waiting for another birth to have another 100 crores? Each human birth is rare asset we all are having. We should know how to spend this asset correctly. And if this asset is not spent correctly, we are heading for a big disaster. Don't misunderstand me, Mataji. I'm nothing personal on it, but I'm just trying to make you realize what drawback is there in us and what we have to change. So it gives us wisely deciding your life, like spending 100 crores. That's why I'm reading the statement again for you. This new version of spiritual aspect, you are telling earlier, I will include spirituality in my life. No, spirituality is life. All our elders, our shastras tells that life starts with spirituality, ends with spirituality. What is in between the starting and the end in spirituality is your normal life. Krishna did not tell Arjuna, don't love your parents, don't love your children, don't love your relatives, but first see the higher goal of life. That is why the first line is clarity of goal of life. One should have clarity in this goal of life. Then, if you don't have direction, your plane is going to go somewhere. प्लेन उड़ा रहा हूं, कहां जा रहा हूं पता नहीं, जा रहा हूं, जाओगे, जाते जाते फ्यूल खत्म हो जाएगा, किधर किधर क्रैश हो जाओगे. Yeah, you should know what you're possessing, the human birth, with intelligence, with education, and where you're going to spend it, how you're going to spend it is as good like spending 100 crore rupees, but wisely. How to live your two lives. We all have got two lives, the external life and the internal life. What is the external life? In front of friends. Ah, kaisa hai? Badhiya yaar. Everything is going great. Internally, you're crying. Externally, we may put up a nice, bright face, shining face. Apply some nice makeup and lipstick. But internally, you're bleeding. And internal life, trying to find the truth of life. How many of us are trying to find the internal life? Nobody is worried about the internal life. Everyone is worried about the external life, which is false. You go on a morning walk. Everyone meets you. Regular morning walkers. So how are you? Great, fine. Very good, very nice. Whenever you ask, everyone is great. That's why in front of the camera, no one gives a smile. Either makes a very funny face, all that, in front of the selfie, or you have to tell that fellow who is taking the photograph, smile please, then he smiles. That means there is no real smile in one's life. There is only artificial life in one's smile in life. And finally, all are lonely, because at the time of death, you alone travel. No one comes along with you to travel. Satisfaction, key to happiness. You are not satisfied. You cannot satisfy your boss, your wife, your children, anyone in this world. You cannot satisfy. You cannot satisfy your society. You cannot satisfy your friends. Whom have you till now? Whom have you satisfied? Tell me. Have you been able to satisfy? Tell me honestly. Anybody has been able to satisfy his wife, husband, children, relatives, friends, society? Whatever you have done, still there's a scope to improve. Mudut, am I right or wrong? Or is it making sense or not?
Are you making total sense?
We are trying to satisfy this world, which however you may do, will not get satisfied. Kitna bhi kar lo, kitne bhi papad bel lo aap, they are not going to get satisfaction. They will find out fault. They will find out fault inside you, little or more, but they will definitely find some fault inside you, for sure. So the best thing is satisfy with whatever position God has given you. Be satisfied. The more you try to expand, finally one day you'll blast. So get this point very clearly. Lao Singh, you want to speak something?
Sorry, Prabhuji, it got unmuted.
Okay. So don't worry, almost it's over. Just 5 minutes, we'll wind up the class. So by spiritual progress, we can try to control the mind and happiness, and satisfaction lies in the mind. Or kahin pe nahi hai satisfaction. Satisfaction is in the mind only. If the mind is satisfied, you are satisfied. If the mind is not satisfied, you can never be satisfied. And the last message for the day. Once your goal is clear, then your key to success. What is your goal of life, by the way, before I go ahead? I don't think I don't have to ask you all. You are much smarter now. So once your goal of life, when your goal is clear, then your key to success is to focus on the goal and not on the obstacles. Actually, हम लोग है ना जीवन भर अपने ऑब्स्टिकल्स के बारे में बोलते रहते हैं. अगर हम किसी को बोलते हैं मंदिर आइए भक्ति कीजिए, प्रभु जी क्या है, वी गॉट कमिटमेंट, संडे को है ना हमारा बाहर जाने का रहता है, सैटरडे को है ना वी हैव गॉट इवनिंग, सैटरडे इवनिंग प्रोग्राम रहता है. प्रभु जी क्या है, बहुत दूर है मंदिर, भगवान का बुलावा नहीं आया अभी तक, भगवान का बुलावा आएगा तो आएंगे, बहुत दूर पड़ता है. We can go from one end of the city to the other end of the city to have some palatable dish. But when we want to get knowledge of the God, we don't have time to go from one end of the city to the other end of the city. This is a tragedy. So we have to upgrade our version. See, it's an obstacle, no doubt. We have to overcome these obstacles and come over it instead of cribbing over it. We can easily do it. It's only and only the mind who is your best friend and who is your best enemy also. When controlled, it is your best friend. And when it is not controlled, when it acts whimsically, it acts as per your desires, it goes, then it is your best enemy. So with this, I would like to conclude today's seminar. So anybody has got doubts, questions, or anything to add on, can add on. Jigar bro, you can switch off the YouTube now. Jigar Prabhu? Then with the Mataji, just call up Jigar and tell him. Yes, Vandrika Mataji, Puri. I'll Karuna Hoji Mataji, I'll come back to you. One more, एक एक करके लेता हूँ मैं सब. Yeah, बोलिए माताजी.
एक बड़ा क्वेश्चन दिमाग में चल रहा है 2 दिन से.
बोलिए प्रभु जी.
We talk about the death happening during time, at the time of death and all these things. A person who dies with a lot of illness for a long time and all. One person who dies in sleep without knowing also. Everything is fine. You are well. You have been talking to the family. You had your dinner properly.
Very good.
You just sleep and you don't get up.
Correct.
What is different in these two and what is good? This is continuously coming in my mind. Very strongly.
I'll put it this way. I'm trying to put it in your language, makes sense easier for you. It's like tell me, treatment by tablets or treatment by operation. What is the end goal of both? Treatment.